Actually, I saw Yastrzemski's knees buckle at the wall, and then I realized it was a home run, and it was like, okay, here's another childhood dream. We're 2 outs in the backyard, men on base, you hit a big home run.
Welcome to the Living in the Zone podcast. I'm your host, ZoneCoach Jim Fannin. I've coached champions in life, business, and sports for 50 years with a proprietary thought management system that I discovered called S.C.O.R.E. Every guest on this show has been in what we call a zone state, a purposeful, calm feeling where nothing can go wrong, and you're performing at your highest level. Welcome to the podcast. Bucky Dent, 3-time All-Star, 2 World Series rings for the Yankees, MVP of the World Series. Bucky effing Dent. Welcome to Living in the Zone. Bucky Dent, welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited to have you on this show. I've thought about you quite a bit over the years. You've got an illustrious career. Not just as a baseball player, but as a family man, and you're doing all kinds of positive things in your life still. But you are famous for one thing. Everybody talks about it. Bucky effing Dent. How many times have people said that to you in your lifetime? We're going to explain to the audience what that means. They're not using the effing when they say it, of course, especially in Boston. Everybody in Boston knows that, don't they?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I've had just a tremendous career. I've been blessed. God bless me. I started my career as a young athlete, and when they say you got to follow your dreams, I did, and I got to fulfill pretty much all of them. I feel blessed.
When's the first time you had that dream that I'm going to be on the world stage? I'll play in the World Series. How young were you? Do you remember?
I probably was about 8 or 9, 10 years old, and in my backyard. Actually, back then we used to watch the baseball games. The World Series was on in the afternoon. It was on black and white TV, and the teacher would come in and say, "Okay, if you kids are good, I'll turn the World Series on." And I fell in love with Mickey Mantle. So after that, every time we played in the backyard, I was Mickey Mantle. We'd always say, "Oh, there's bases loaded, 2 outs, and you got to hit it over the trees." And that's the first time that really, started idolizing somebody and started saying, my dream is to be a professional athlete.
So when was the first time you literally met the great Hall of Fame, iconic Mickey Mantle? Because I know you knew him. When did you meet him for the first
Not
time?
until Not until 1975 when Rich Gossage and I made the All-Star team, and we went to Milwaukee, and we were going out to dinner that night, and we're walking up to the restaurant, and we're laughing and giggling, and I opened the door, and I said, and he stopped, and I said, "What's the matter? Come on, let's go." And he looked, and he goes, he kind of pointed, so I looked around the door, and at the bar, Mickey Mantle and Billy Martin were standing there. And we both just like froze because, we both were big Mantle fans and we both were big Yankee fans, and we just were like in awe. So that's the first time that I really had a chance to meet him, because he was the captain of the American League team, and Henry Aaron was the captain of the National League team. And it was just like, there it is, bigger than day, the guy that I worshipped and idoled.
Dream come true, almost full circle. Well, 3-time All-Star. You won 2 World Series rings for the Yankees. That's unbelievable and a big deal. But October 2nd, and you know the year, 1978, I'm in Milan, Italy, listening on radio and the unlikely thing happened. I think you were hitting 243. I hope I'm not inaccurate on that. But the Red Sox were up 14 games that year. No chance the Yankees are coming back, and you all clawed your way back. The Red Sox helped a little bit by losing, and it ends up you have the identical same record at the end of the season. It's coming down to one game. One game, you're going home, you're fishing. Next game, you're on your path, hopefully, to the World Series. You were down 2-0, Fenway Park. What was going through your mind? 2 men on.
Well, I was lucky. I got to play for the team that I dreamed of, the New York Yankees. We won a world championship the year before, and I was fortunate to play with some great players. Some guys that played the game the way it was supposed to be played. They believed in their ability. They didn't like to lose. So in 78, we started off very slow. Boston was playing at 750 baseball. We had a lot of guys hurt. I got hurt in spring training. I fouled the ball off my legs. Used to wear a guard all the time. Rivers got hurt, Catfish got hurt. But anyway, um, as we started to get healthy, the mentality of our team, which was unbelievable, um, as we started to get healthy, we had one guy that we could rely on every fifth day, and that was Ron Guidry. Had a tremendous year, 25-3, I think he was. We knew every fifth day we were going to win. If we could get Catfish back, get the rotation right, that we could start to put together 3, 4, 5 wins, and that's what we did. And as we creeped closer, we said if we get to September, we play them 7 times, we're going to beat them. We're going to catch them. And that's what happened. Other than we went down to the last day and Catfish started and he got beat around a little bit. Louis Tiant started for the Red Sox. He shut out Toronto. And we wound up losing the coin toss. But anyway, we said, oh, we got to go to Boston. Well, it didn't matter where we played. So we fly up to Boston, and in the 7th inning, another dream of mine came true. I've been struggling going into that series, and so before they're taking batting practice, a crystal clear, beautiful day. Um, Mickey Rivers was standing there, and he's my homie. He's from Miami too. And so I said, "Hey, homie, let me use your bat. I was struggling a little bit." He said, "Yeah, go ahead." So I took the bat. I went up there, took some swings, hit a couple balls, and well, when I did, I hit one. I hit off the end, and it cracked the bat right under the tape. And so as the game went along, like you said, we were down 2-0. Torres was running fastballs in on me and throwing sliders away, and he threw a sinker at it. I fouled it off my foot. And so I went back to the on-deck circle. Gene Monahan comes out, and he says, let me spray some stuff on it. Well, we only had 24 guys that day. Randolph had pulled a hamstring, and Bob Lemon had pinched hit for Brian Doyle, so we had no more infielders. So I knew that I had to play. And I didn't wear my guard that day. So as they sprayed the stuff on it, as I started back to the plate, Mickey goes, "Hey, homie, that's the wrong bat." And he gave it to the bat boy, and he walked up and just give it to me. And I grabbed it. And I wasn't paying attention. My foot was still hurting. Well, meantime, Mike Torres didn't throw any pitches. He didn't throw a warm-up pitch. So when I got back in the box, I was looking for a fastball in because that's what he'd been pitching me. And he threw one in, but he got it down a little bit where I was a pretty good low ball hitter. And I hit it really good. I didn't know if it was going to go out, but I rounded first and I saw that the umpire signaled it was a home run, and
Over the Green Monster.
just made it. It just made it.
Wow.
There was a shadow on it. I saw Yastrzemski's knees buckle at the wall, and then I realized it was a home run, and it was like, okay, here's another childhood dream. We're 2 outs in the backyard. Men on base. You hit a big home run, and that's what happened, and it was another dream come true.
You must have absolutely quieted. How eerily quiet did Fenway get when you're rounding those bases? Was that surreal?
Oh my God. It was like I got to second base and it was like it was dead quiet. You could hear the sprinkling of the Yankee fans as I round third base, touched the plate and started back to the dugout, and I could see Steinbrenner and all the guys coming out of the dugout, and people said, well, what were you thinking? And I was just thinking we're ahead 3-2. We had 3 more innings to go, and in Fenway, anything can happen. It was the biggest, most pressure game I ever played in my life. I mean, it was one of the games that was just immensely pressured. Boston, New York, Yankees, Red Sox, and it was just pressure packed the whole game.
Win that game, I think you won 5-4, if my memory serves me correct. You win the game and then go on to not only win the World Series, which is unbelievable, but you're going to get MVP of the World Series. What was the World Series like?
Well,
You
people
already
ask
had
me,
one, but this one was a little bit different.
yeah, I mean, what had happened was, you know, Munson was joking around on the plane because we beat Boston, we beat Kansas City, we went 2 games down to LA and we're flying back and Munson's joking around. He goes, well, he says, let me tell you something. He says, they didn't pick us to win the division. They didn't pick us to beat Kansas City. They don't pick us to beat the Red Sox. So we're going to go home. Guidry's going to beat them. We're going to win 4 in a row. We're going to win. We're going to win the World Series. And actually, that's what we did. And but that was what I was talking about: the grit, the mentality of the guys that I played with. I mean,
And he was
Munson,
tough.
Nettles. He was tough,
Munson, he was
tough.
a disciplined guy.
Disciplined guy, we had disciplined players, we had guys that didn't like to lose. They played the game the right way. But let me go back and say that I think one of the biggest things that helped us make that run was the papers were on strike. We weren't getting any negative things written about us. And Billy Martin retired. He resigned. And Bob Lemon came in. And Bob Lemon brought a presence in there where he walked in and he said, listen, you guys were world champions. You won it last year. Just relax and play. So not having the papers writing negative things. And we caught our breath and went like, wow, we just got to play now. It changed the whole chemistry of the club. And we went on a run and we played great down the stretch.
So you were very disciplined, you had a dream, you were very focused, definitely confident in who you were. But Bob Lemon brought some relaxation because Billy was very controversial. I mean, Billy could make a controversy out of anything, pretty much.
Yes. Yes.
Very contentious with the media and everything. That's a perfect storm to find that calm, which attracted a blanket zone feeling. Could you feel the zone engulf your entire team?
Yes. When he said that, it was almost like everybody went like, phew, man, that feels good where we don't have to be in this constant, negativity with the press, with what's going on with Billy and Reggie and George and this and that, and it just seemed to put where we could just think about playing the game between the lines and worry about winning. And it just took all the like popped a balloon and we all went, let's catch our breath. And we did. And then it became where everybody just became focused in the zone and we just played the game.
There's a huge life lesson inside all of this year that you had in 78.
Yes.
How you can be physically injured in your life. You can have things going wrong. And you did. You had things that way wrong in 1978. But there's nothing more special than 25 guys, and you had 24, all disciplined, knowing what you wanted collectively, focused on one thing and do your job. Everybody do your own job and relax. That is an amazing feeling. Now, Bucky, you've done so many other things in your life after baseball. Living your life in a zone state, that's getting your whole family in a zone state. You and I met after your career. I coached Cody, Caitlin, your twins. Thank you for even allowing me to do that. It was a privilege and an honor. to be able to give your kids the gift of my S.C.O.R.E system, and then Stacy and Scott. But how does self-discipline fit into parenting and other things in your life?
Well, I think it's important, what they were young athletes at the time, and what I tried to make them understand is the importance of a routine, to focus. What happened to me is, as I went along in my career, I had my brother. My brother was the disciplinarian. He's the one that taught me about, a routine of what you need to do to be successful.
Is your
To
older brother?
Yes, my older brother, Jim, and to be focused, have a routine, and to stay in that routine. So, what happened to me is I carried that routine all the way, and then in 1975, um, the Chicago White Sox started a program in spring training called Civil Mind Control, and it kind of jump started me into another level of concentration, visualization, breathing, being able to be in the moment in big situations. And that's what I was trying to teach them and to make them understand what it took to get to the level that they wanted to get to. So that's when I called you and you started working with them. But
I'm
those are the
not sure how
things
you and I hooked up. Do you remember? I don't remember.
I don't remember either. I forgot how we hooked up, but
It's amazing.
um, huh?
It's amazing. I just remember talking to you on the phone about your two awesome kids, and off we went, and they were special. Caitlin went to NC State softball, played softball there. She was a big bopper. She could definitely hit the long ball. And then Cody played shortstop. Yeah, they were a delight working with them, and you and I had many conversations about your kids. And I remember one thing you told me: I want them to be world-class decision makers.
Right. I want them to, to be able to make good decisions in life. But yeah, but going back, to the routine, and that's what I've tried to do in my life now, with my wife Angie. We have a routine that we do every day and we try and stay in it. We try to stay, disciplined as far as, we walk, we watch what we do as far as what we eat. And I think it just carries on and it makes it a whole lot easier when you get into that routine in life.
Now, do you have an hour by hour routine? Give me a little rundown. What's a typical Bucky Dent day?
No, we have our morning routine, where we get up, we have coffee, we do our morning talk, and I do my morning reading. And then, during the day, we always save time. She likes to walk in the morning, and I like to I like to walk in the morning or in the afternoon, but I stay with the routine where, we walk, we talk, we do our thing in the morning, and then, um we naturally we worry about what we eat because we want to stay healthy. I'm 72 years old, so I want to be around for a long time. So, I think it's important to have that discipline and that routine every day that you do.
And tell me about going to sleep at night. Do you still go to sleep? Because, as a little kid, you probably fell asleep thinking about hitting a home run and playing with Mickey Mantle. And, our dreams so many times occur right before we go to sleep. Do you have a nighttime ritual?
I think it's now we fish a lot, we hunt a lot, we're enjoying life, and that's the thing, is you know, I still want to catch a gigantic fish. I still, we still shoot deer, we still, enjoy life. We like to travel. We travel through, Europe to Italy, and this in a couple weeks we're going to Montana and Wyoming, and that's what it's all about. We're at that stage now we want to just kind of relax and enjoy life.
Yeah, living in the zone, playing in the zone is one thing. A lot of people, I'm in the zone at work, I'm in the zone in baseball, but living in the zone, that's a different deal. I'm finding of 8 billion people on this planet, it's less than 1% that wake up and they're living in the zone, and everything that they do, from parenting to self-care, uh, to a hobby to work. And you found that balance.
Yeah, and
So
we enjoy it, and we spend a lot of time now, in some charity work. We joined the board of Swim Across America, and it's another part of, that discipline, that giving back that's important. I think, as an athlete, I experience a lot of things, and, to be able to give back and be a part of a gigantic charity that's been so successful. We became disciplined because we wanted to make one of the swims, so we started swimming. Unfortunately,
I
our
have some,
first,
I have some inside information on that. I understand that you thought at one point you were going to drown in the
I
ocean.
did. I thought it was.
You thought it was over, and a mutual friend of ours bailed your ass out. Am I right?
Yes, he did. He did. Eric.
Tell
Eric
me
was
about
our he was our angel swimmer, but he was saving her while I was drowning. But that day was really rough. And this is where you had to really get your mind right, and actually Charlie was standing on the thing, and he's going, "Come on, Mom, you can do this. You got this. Just breathe, just breathe." And so, we're standing there as Team Dent with two people while everybody had five or six and seven, 10 people in there. And we started out, and we got about 50 yards, and the seaweed was so bad it got in my snorkel. You know, she was up on the float with Eric, and I rolled over and I looked at Eric. I said, "I think I'm going to drown. I can't breathe." He goes, "That's okay. Just roll over." And he got about 2 more hundred yards to that marker, and you could stand up. I said, "Gee, thanks," but it was a mental test, but we made the swim.
Yeah, but you didn't have an ordinary angel. I mean, you had a world champion swimmer, Eric Wunderlich.
And a terrific guy, one of the best guys I've ever met. I mean, got a terrific sense of humor. And, the first thing that he said to us when we were standing on the beach, he goes, you know, he says, "There's no blue line on the bottom of the ocean like there is in a pool." And I looked at him, and it's the first time I went like, "Oh my God, you're right." He says, "You're going to have to look up and see where the buoy is." I said, "Okay, I'll look up," but we had a good time with him, and he's a terrific guy. We just spent some time with him a couple weeks ago at a meeting, and we just love him.
And of course, he's married to Ann Grossman, which is one of our zone coaches on full time on our staff. She's a champion in her own right. Yeah, you had an angel on your shoulder. We all
Yeah.
need one of those, but definitely in the ocean. That
Oh,
must have
yes, we
been
do.
scary.
Yes, we do.
That
Yes, we
must have
do.
been scary. So tell me about the foundation.
Well, it's called
What
Swim Across America.
organization?
It's called Swim Across America, and actually, one of my wife's friends is the head of it, and they asked us to be a part of it about 3 years ago, and we went over, and it's just a really, really uh, good organization, and we said that we'd like to be a part of it, and they raise money for cancer, and like the swim that we do is in the Tampa swim, all the money goes to the hospital. What's the children? John Hopkins Children's Hospital, and then we just got back from Louisville. They're starting a swim in Louisville. That's where my wife grew up, and it's all the money's going to go to Brown Cancer. But they do about 25, 30 swims a year, and I just think it's a fantastic organization, and we just love being a part of it.
If I could take a helicopter up above Bucky Dent's life and kind of from the beginning to the very end, first of all, I've never spoken to you where I didn't feel complete optimism. Even if you're having a dark time, there's always a silver lining for Bucky Dent. Looking back on your career, was there any time when that optimism where it was a struggle? And if so, if you remember a time like that, what did you do to get out of it, or did someone help you get out of it?
Well, I think my faith. I have a strong faith, and I've had some really good mentors, some people that, have really helped me through those times. My brother was my younger one because when we were younger, we were given to my aunt and uncle. We were raised by my aunt and uncle, and I didn't meet my mom till I was about 10 years old. Then as I, went through life, I had some good people. I met a guy by the name of Father Joe Dispenza, who was one of the top sports psychologists at the time. I met him when I was playing with the White Sox, and when I got traded to the Yankees, we became really, really good friends. And he helped me further my development as far as dealing with tough situations. It was civil mind control. But then he told me at that time in '94, he says, or in '76 when I met him, he says, before I die, he says, every sports team's going to have a sports psychologist. Because back then when we were doing it, when I was doing it, it was kind of like voodoo. If somebody found out that you were going to a mental coach, they thought something was wrong with you. And,
Oh,
and
I saw that 40 years ago, 50 years ago. Shh, don't tell anybody that you're
yeah,
using my score system. I had top guys from the Yankees write me a letter and go, I don't want anybody to know.
yeah,
I had a secret for 50 years because of that. That is a
yes.
stigma, isn't it? And now
It's like, back then we had the same kind of pressure on us, and we had the same kind of goals and the dreams. And it was just, you know, the guys, from, you know, uh, the mental coach when I was with the White Sox, civil mind control, and then Father Joe, they just gave you that tool that you could go and get into that mindset to where you could block out everything and you could just play the game. And I really learned to do that. So yeah, there was times in my life where, that's what got me through, that I was able to go to that zone and stay in it. And I really had it when it's in the work in the playoff game against Boston, and it carried me through to the World Series where you just get locked in and you don't hear anything. It's the baseball, and that's it. In playing defense, the game slowed down. And those come from, all the things that you go through and all the practice and all the preparation and all the breathing exercises and all the visualization that when it happens, it's like, wow, this just happened, it just makes it that more beautiful, so to speak.
and that's how you and I wound up with each other. Because I remember our first conversation. What you said was you wanted me to provide those tools to your kids.
Right.
It was your gift to your kids to have them go through the score system. Again, I was humbled and honored and privileged, and we are with all the kids that we coach. But I remember that day really well. How tough is it for a parent to turn your child over to a mental coach? Is
Um,
that
you
tough?
know,
That
I,
easy? How?
I think it was easier for me because I had been through it. I knew the success that I had using that that visualization, that routine, that determination, and the breathing, to slow the anxiety down. So I thought that was very important, because look, they started to come into the world of, cell phones, computer age and more stuff that put more pressure on them on the outside.
Well, managing one's thoughts in a pressure situation really is the key to being successful. And the one thing you told me about your kids is whatever they want success to be should be what they want it to be. You didn't
Right.
impose on them, you got to make the major leagues. And with Cody, especially, that was his dream. Caitlin had her dream. Your other kids had their dream. I think Stacy was a great soccer player. Am I accurate?
Yes,
I
she
did have
was.
a lot of interaction with her. It's not easy being a pro athlete, being in the zone as a pro athlete. How tough is it to be in the zone being a parent when you're playing a 162 game schedule and you're not home a lot? How
Well,
tough was that?
it's tough, it's because I'm gone a lot, it takes the discipline of trying to teach them. You still have to do what you want to do. You still have to visualize. You still have to, do your routine. You still have to do all those things, even though that I'm not there. It's easier when I'm there, but when I'm not, it falls back on you that, like when I grew up, I didn't my parents were really never around. I was my aunt and uncle. I played, they hardly ever came to my games. So I had to learn to do things on my own. And that's what I tried to stress to them that, because I'm not here doesn't mean that you stop what you're doing if you want to be successful and you have that vision of your dream of where you want to be. You still have to do all the work. And that's what I tried to enforce in them.
And you did that with your kids. You helped them become world-class decision makers, making their own decisions about their life. And I think I think as parents, that's one of our number one priorities.
Yes, it
Our
is.
our kids are only as good as what they think and do when we're not there.
Right.
And that's kind of scary with the internet and the peer group today is it's
Tough.
vicious, it's cruel, it's tough. There's bullying, and thank goodness you and I didn't have social media when we were playing sports professionally. That I can't even comprehend what kids are going through today, all the way down to the fourth grade.
Yeah, you're right. And now I'm in it with my grandkids. I'm trying to, teach them, the same things, that if you really want this, then you have to work for it. You have to, go through those tough days when things aren't going well, when you're over 25 and, you got to still grind through it. You still got to trust, you still got to believe because, sports is a game of up and downs. In baseball, I always tell them, there's a lot of negativity in baseball. You're gonna have a lot of people tell you you're too slow, you can't do this. There's a lot of can'ts. You can't do this, you can't do that. Well, you have to be able to block that out. And I always said there's a little guy whispering in your ear, when you're going up to the plate, uh-oh, this guy's throwing hard. I don't know if you can hit him. You have to be able to get that guy off your shoulder and trust what you're doing,
Oh, yeah.
because of what you worked at the whole time. You hit a hundred balls. You fielded a hundred balls, and what I always try to, tell my infielders, one thing that I always told myself so I could take away all the other negative things was if you hit the ball to me, you're out. If you hit the ball to me, you're out. And one of the things that I learned when I was taking visualization was, I asked the teacher one day when we were doing our relaxation, and he said, visualize yourself fielding. I had trouble with the ball going in my glove. And he goes, stop. He says, what I want you to do is never let the ball go by you. Think of being an octopus, tie a string to the ball, but you're telling your mind that this is where the ball is supposed to go. When I started doing that, I remember sometimes I would make a play where the ball would take a bad hop and I would just catch it in my bare hand and I would throw it to first base and I'll go, wow, I just caught that ball, you know, because your mind is telling you. And so that's what I always say, to the infielders, you hit the ball to me, you're out. I'm not worrying about, it's like in the ninth inning in Boston, Gossage against Yastrzemski, standing shortstop, 32,000 people, the whole world stopped, and they're going, oh, am I going to say, no, I don't want this ball hit to me? No, you hit the ball to me, this game's over, and we're gonna go on. And it takes all that negative stuff out of your mind. And
And that's extreme self-discipline. That's great preparation. And you're right. We program our subconscious to fail or succeed every single day. You can take what you just said there and apply that to pretty much anything in life, can't you? Think
absolutely, absolutely,
so. So
absolutely.
how are you using the discipline that you've learned, the concentration that you're able to harness, the optimism that you keep unwavering, the relaxation, because you're Bucky, you're cool. You're a cool guy. You are. I don't know if anybody's called you cool, but I talked to you so many times. I've never seen you, upset. Not that you don't get upset, but I don't see it. I haven't seen it. And you still have this amazing passion for life. Uh, you can take all of those attributes from your playing career and apply it to the rest of your life. So,
You can, and I have a beautiful wife, and I call her Sunshine because she's my sunshine. She is the most optimistic person I've ever been around in my life, and it's just fun every day, um, to enjoy life. And you play all these years, you work all these years, and now it comes down, okay, let's enjoy life. Let's see the world. That's what I always wanted to do was let's go to Italy, let's go to here, let's go to there, let's go see these places and then just enjoy life. And you're always going to have potholes in the road, but are you going to look at it and say it's a big one, or are you going to say I don't care what size it is, I'm going to get through it and get to the other side, and that's, and I think, like I said, my faith has been my guidance as far as that, and it's strong. And you when you go through so many things, and you have a beautiful person as your wife that's very, very positive, it's easy to go through life. It's easy to bounce off anything that's
it's
thrown
tough
at
to
you.
be in the dark when you're living with a light. It's really tough to be
That's exact.
in the dark.
That's a great way to put it. Yes, it is.
Well,
Yes, it is.
you've been blessed, but you attracted that, Bucky. You attracted that positivity with how you think. So, if you could give any advice, I'm going to ask you to give some advice to maybe a couple of niches. A young kid starting out in the game, maybe they're 8, 9, 10 years old, dreaming about being Aaron Judge or whoever they're thinking about for the Yankees. What one thing could you give that kid for advice?
I always told the kids, at my baseball school I had for 33 years, I said, you have to dream big. And as Elvis Presley said, you got to follow that dream. But in following that dream, you have to be disciplined enough to work for it. And you're going to go through ups and downs, and you can't let negativity drag you to the bottom. You got to stay positive. You got to see that dream. You got to visualize it, but you have to work for it every day. You have to work to get to that where you want to be.
Now, I've got a new audience for you, Bucky. We got parents around the globe listening to you. Some of them, you were their idol. What advice would you give a parent that's raising that 8 or 9 year old kid?
To let them play the game. When they're playing to gain the game, I always told the parents when I had my school to zip it, because they're always giving instruction. Johnny, do this. Johnny, do that. Just let them play. If you have something to say to them, wait till after the game's over, give them positive reinforcement and say, if they had a great game, you had a great game, that's awesome. And if they have a negative game, be positive with them. Look, we all make errors. We all throw home run pitches. We all strike out. That's part of the game. But how you carry yourself on the field and how you go about getting yourself ready to play every day is what you want to do. And that's, some of the things that I try to tell them. And I always leave them, with one little piece of advice. I always told my kids, a 30-second wrong decision's going to either change your life or it's going to kill you. So when you have to make a decision that's black and white, take a deep breath, step back, and make the right decision. And that's one of the things that I try to, give the kids that I coach.
That's great advice. Now, I've got one more group of people I want you to talk to right now because they're listening. Everybody that's 70 years old or older, your age group, what would you give everybody that you're talking to right now that's in their 60s, 70s, maybe their career's ending or it's over. You got any advice for your peer group?
Enjoy life. Enjoy life. You know, you have to enjoy life no matter what. And, you know, and I think it goes back to what we were talking about. We talk about a routine. You have to have a routine in your day and stick with it. And, you know, I think it's so important, you know, to walk, to breathe, to smile, to get in the sunshine, to watch what you eat and travel, enjoy life if it's possible.
Yeah, there's a definite ending to life. So I'm telling everybody, what's the rush?
That's it. Watch the rust. Enjoy it.
Enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
Enjoy the journey.
Enjoy it. Enjoy it.
Bucky, you've been a friend of our score system and me for some time now. Again, it was an honor and a privilege to work with your kids, interact with you, and I'm so excited about your life, what you're doing. Tell me the foundation one more time so people can look for it. I know you're entrenched in that.
Swim Across America. It's a fantastic organization. It's an organization that raised money for cancer research, and they're doing tremendous things. They've raised over $100 million over the 25 or 30 years they've been doing, and they're breaking ground. They're doing everything. And I always say, let's make waves and wipe out cancer.
Let's make waves and wipe out cancer. What a great moniker. I love that. Bucky, you're the best. Bucky effing Dent, you are amazing.
That's me, buddy, and I love it. It's my badge of honor.
Well,
Thanks a lot.
You deserve it. Thank you so much. We're going to have you back on the show. And Bucky, I will talk to you really soon. Thank you.
You got it. God bless you, man.
Thanks for watching or listening to Living in the Zone podcast. Make sure that you subscribe so you can be up to date on all of our information and content. Go to ZoneCoach.com where you're going to learn more on how we can help you live your life, business, or sport in the zone.